And to our sponsors, our media partners, our association partners, and a special thank you to Vertex Business Systems who made this keynote session possible. I wanted to say thanks to you as well for being part of this. You really are part of moving the industry forward when you attend. And I think that's one of the great things about our industry is that tradition of helping, not just during natural disasters when we send crews, but when there's a new challenge, when there's a new problem, we share those lessons learned with each other. So thank you for bringing the smarts to this smart metering event. Our theme this year is Smart Meters, Smart Grid, Smart Consumers, and Smart Conference. So thanks for the energy and ideas you're bringing. I also want to remind you that when you attend this, you're part of a global phenomenon. The smart grid is taking place all over the planet, and that's a lot of new ideas, a lot of new lessons to be learned from everywhere. So I think it's very fortunate that we have a global conference company presenting this event. Spintelligent and its parent Clarion produces more than 20 smart grid and related events all around the world every year. And over the last decade, they've welcomed more than 50,000 delegates from more than 200 countries to their smart grid events. So I wanted to express my appreciation to them and for their dedication, for their long-term commitment to our industry. This is a global event too. We have attendees from 19 different countries, well, maybe 20 counting the nation state of Texas. So if you're in line and you see someone badged that they're from abroad, I hope you'll give them a very special welcome. We've got folks from Brazil, from South Africa, India, China, Sweden, and many other countries. So now it's my pleasure to bring up Christine Wright, and she's from the Public Utility Commission of Texas. She's a senior market policy analyst. She managed the team that wrote the rules for advanced metering adopted in 2007. She's been with the PUC since 2005. Before that, she was with Energy Strategies, LLC, where she helped clients with issues like energy procurement and demand-side management. So, from the nation state of Texas, Christine Wright. Thanks, Christine.
Thank you very much, Jesse. Good morning. I know you were expecting to listen to Chairman Smitherman this morning, and he wanted me to send his regrets that he can't be here. There was an important meeting that got scheduled, and he was required to go to that. So he did share some of his thoughts with me, so even though it won't be him, it's almost like he's here because I'm saying a lot of the words and a lot of the messages that he would have given to you today. And I'm just real briefly going to talk about our perspective on smart grid and some of the priorities that we are working on piece by piece at the Commission, which includes our unique approach to electric vehicles and an aggressive smart metering initiative and rollout, stabilization of our nodal wholesale market design, and lastly, the competitive renewable energy zone project, or what we call CREZ, all of which we believe will further help our market to grow and really increase the customer experience. I was reminded this morning of a humorous story that I heard recently, and while at a conference, a man noticed an Asian gentleman walk into the banquet room and take a seat and really didn't seem to know anyone and didn't say anything. And so this man thought that he would help the gentleman understand English and picked up a fork and said, "This be forky," and then picked up a spoon and said, "This be spoony," and knife and said, "This be knifey." And the gentleman nodded very courteously and didn't say anything. To the man's surprise, the gentleman stood up and gave the keynote address that morning in flawless English. And after the speech, he came over and said, "You likey speechy?" I thought of that because I'm sure that some of you may take note that in Texas we are deregulated and we're not under FERC jurisdiction, and in some ways it may seem like we're speaking a different language. But we too are addressing a lot of the same challenges in the energy industry that you are addressing, and there are some similarities dealing again with electric vehicles, smart metering, integration of renewable. So let me highlight just a few of the items, starting with CREZ, Competitive Renewable Energy Zones. You can't talk about the smart grid without talking about building the transmission. And the Commission selected a project that when completed will have over 18,000 megawatts of transfer capacity. And this has included the approval of over 30 projects. All but 2 are underway. And this will allow us to transmit wind as well as other sources from the Panhandle and Central West Texas region into where the load centers are, which include San Antonio and Austin and Dallas. And so that has been a huge initiative for us at the Commission. Secondly, talking about enhancing the customer experience and customer choice. As I'm sure you know, the market opened literally overnight to about 6 million customers in 2002. And so at the Commission, we don't regulate rates, but we do oversee that competitive market. And we also continue to oversee traditional cost of service regulation in areas like Entergy, El Paso, and in the Panhandle. And what we have seen since the market opened, especially in the last 2 years, is the prices have lowered significantly in the wholesale market as well as in the retail market. And the market has provided different offers to customers in terms of the products that they can get, which include renewable, green rates, long-term and short-term prices. The average 2001 residential price was 10.6 cents per kilowatt hour before the market opened. And as of December 1st, 2010, the average residential rate was 7 cents per kilowatt hour. And you can go on to powertochoose.org today and look at rates as low as 7 cents for a whole host of products, including some of the renewable offerings. Product differentiation and choice, I think, will be further continued with the integration of smart metering, and that's been one of my major areas of focus. We are approaching in ERCOT 3 million smart meters, and by the end of 2013, we'll have over 6 million in ERCOT. And these meters are home area network enabled. They record electricity in 15-minute increments and adhere to ANSI standards. And one of the things that we're particularly proud of at the Commission was the development of Smart Meter Texas, and that's smartmetertexas.com. And instead of having each of the IOUs in ERCOT build their own portal, their own website for customers to access their data once they received a smart meter, the utilities worked with the Commission and with parties and built a joint portal, which has allowed for interoperability among the utilities in the state and also for cost savings. I think smart meters, too, will likely offer future yet-to-be-realized benefits, and our chairman is the new proud owner of a Chevy Volt. And even though he's not in an area open to competition, he does look forward to time-of-use pricing so that he can better use his car. Talking about electric vehicles, there may be some interesting items that you might not be aware of. We've taken a hands-off approach at the Commission. We have not provided any rules or standards yet that would apply to electric vehicles. And what has happened is the market has responded in offering charging stations. NRG recently unveiled one of the nation's first 480-volt direct current fast chargers at a Walgreens here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And this charger will be one of the planned 120 chargers that NRG intends to install and maintain in the Dallas area. NRG has also announced that they're privately funding their 480-volt and 240-volt stations. And then in September of last year, TXU Energy also announced that it was investing in at least a dozen charging stations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and are working. TXU Energy is working with the established EVgo network so that TXU customers can take advantage of the vehicles and have a monthly charging service option. In Austin, where I live, Austin Energy also plans to provide a subscription-based charging package for a fixed monthly fee. And so we have commitments from Whole Foods and Half Price Books and other other companies in Texas that have announced or already have the installation of chargers. So with that, there is a lot going on at Texas, and those are really our priorities at the Commission, all intended to really further the competitive market and increase the customer experience. So with that, I will stop, and thank you for letting me address you this morning.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Christine. You know, from where I sit, the real benefits and possibilities of retail competition have really started to come to the fore in the last year, 18 months or something. And so thank you for those insights into what's gone on and what's going on next. Now I'd like to bring up Dan Sullivan. He's the Managing Director of North American Utilities for Vertex Business Systems. He spent 30 years in IT. Before joining Vertex in 2009, he was a partner at Accenture, which is the world's largest consulting firm. And before that, Vice President of North American Outsourcing for Capgemini. And he's here to bring up our keynote. Dan?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. On behalf of Vertex, welcome to Texas. I'm a native Texan myself. I live north now in the Midwest, but I just can't get out of the state of Texas. Another month from now, it might be a little warm to join, but I love the state. Welcome you all to the Metering Billing MDM America Conference, and I want to especially acknowledge Encore being our host utility. You'll be hearing more about the Encore journey and smart meters soon, their ups and downs, and it's a very fascinating story, and we'll get right to that after that, and then we'll follow up with some Q&A. First, a little bit about Vertex. We provide a portfolio of global management services from 17 facilities in North America. We do BPO, IT, the front office, back office, call centers. We like to think of it as the meter to cash process, and we are the soft side of the meter to cash, the people side, and that's our focus. We white label those services, so the utilities, we have about 60 to 70 utilities that we have year-over-year relationships with that we white label the call centers, the IT, so that their consumers think of us as the local utility. The interesting thing about that is that because we do work with 60 to 70 utilities in North America, it gives us some good insights as to what's going on, how we see the mass market being played out in retail competition, as well as meter data management and smart meters. And so what I hope to do is share a few of those insights that we see that have been occurring over the last 12 to 18 months that we think are unique and new to North America, and that we see a lot of our clients trying to address them, stepping up, and Encore being one of those. So the three emerging trends that I'd like to discuss briefly are the new consumer interactions and its impact on your traditional call center, because it's very fascinating to see where we're going to be in another 5 years, and the impact of the smart grid, smart meter on that call center. We're also seeing some new trends in the way that utilities are addressing what we call the CIS ecosystem to support the smart grid, the IT side of that. And then lastly, the emerging role of analytics. Let's start with the consumers themselves. While surveys reveal that customers say they want the smart grid, they're generally unaware of how this is going to impact their life. What is the value they're going to get? Right now, most consumers served by the traditional manner have limited interactions with the utility. They're calling to clarify a bill, to talk about service that they need or they want. As utilities deploy more smart meters, we're seeing that the consumers are asking to make choices that are sometimes welcome, but they're always new and confusing. They are confusing to these folks. As an industry, it's our job to counter that fear, that uncertainty, and that doubt, and to make sure that information consumers receive is accurate despite what they hear or from talk shows or on the internet. And this is the challenge we've seen in a number of jurisdictions around North America, is that for all the right reasons we're deploying the smart meters, the smart grids, but that message is being distorted. And so it's our role to address that. Now, what takes me to the first point, which is the consumer interactions. And this is, as one of the teachers of my kids say, this is our teachable moment. This is our moment of truth in the industry. We need to get our message out. We need to explain what's going on, like what we heard about what's going on in Texas, to the consumers. Once they get that information in hand, it's a much easier job for us to go deploy that and sell that value. That teachable moment is being delivered, as you know, through lots of different ways, through social media, IVRs, local TV programming where I live. There's a TV program every Sunday morning. Great program, goes for about 30 minutes, explaining the value, the social value of smart meters, smart grid, and the impact on the consumer. But of course, there's mailings, community chats, and one of the things that I encourage you to look at today is Encore has I called it a van, and they slapped me. It's not my van. It's a mobile experience center that's parked right outside the building, but it's a very impressive show of the technology, both in front of the meter as well as behind the meter. So it's a pretty